the app.
Oh, no, but I don't have an M2.
Oh.
I still have the MacBook Pro. I don't know what you mean. I'm like, huh? Microphone, there's my video.
So we're live on YouTube.
Buenas tardes, nuevamente estamos de regreso ahora con Savant. Tenemos otro invitado de lujo, el señor Trevor Damat. Trevor es holandés, lleva con Savant casi 10 años. Es el vicepresidente de ventas para toda la parte internacional, o sea, todo lo que fuera de Estados Unidos, incluye Canadá, Latinoamérica, el Caribe, Asia, Europa, Australia, etcétera. Así que es un honor contar con el amigo Trevor en la llamada. También obviamente está el ingeniero Juan Pablo García, nuestro gerente técnico también. Trevor, how are you?
Doing good, good. As you just said, man, it's a lot of countries that I manage, and somehow I'm still here.
That's right. Let me ask you some fun facts about you. Anything you want?
The personal side?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Keep it decent.
Yeah. What do you have? What can you share?
What can I share? As in, like, how I'm doing, or fun fact? I'm Dutch. I love Mexican food. I don't like spicy food. I don't eat oysters or anything shellfish.
You don't eat oysters?
Yeah, I don't eat oysters. Not into it at all. I know mussels. I'm from a mussel country. Not happening.
Yeah.
And maybe some of the audience knows, but I've been a lucky married man with a Mexican for 18 years, and I still don't speak Spanish. I'm so sorry.
I'm pretty impressed that you've been able to play that card still.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm going to get out of your way. Thanks again for joining us. Bienvenido, Trevor.
Thank you. I'm going to close some things here on my screen. Hey, Juan Pablo. So where do you think we should start?
I think we should start. We're really happy also that you come back and work us in a region. I'm pretty sure most of our dealers missed you, and we're really happy to have you back with us.
Thank you. Yeah, it's actually a lot of fun to be back. As I noted to some others already the other days, it's an area in the Latin America that I really enjoy working with. Truly do love to meet people in person, get to know the culture, what the needs are, and yeah, I'm truly excited to work with the Latin American dealers. And of course, with the Polaris team, that's not a bad thing to have as well. So excited, and excited to start working together again.
So for all of other people that are out there and still doesn't know about Savant or just have heard, so is Savant only focused on like high-end luxury projects, or is it something that we can work in like our everyday job kind of systems?
Yeah, that's an awesome question, Juan Pablo. So in its original days, and we're nearly like 20 years old here, Savant was designed for the mega project, like the really large projects. And over the years, I've been here almost 10 years. Over the years, I think we've developed some really neat products, also for the smaller solution, or for folks that are just getting started. So I think we have a really neat product mix today that we can apply to any project anywhere in the world, and that's exciting. I kind of compare it sometimes to, like, let's say, the automotive industry, like the Volkswagen Group. They've got their Bugatti, they got their Porsches in the group, but yet awesome Volkswagens and Audis for the everyday still as well. I think we're there as well. If I probably just to come and think of it, and I know you're a huge fan of it, but the SIPA One, our Savant IP Audio One, is a huge testament to this. Like, it's a small amplifier, small package with a lot of power and punch baked into it, and that gets you started really well.
Yeah, for sure. And so one of the best things I really like about Savant, and it has been, like the thing that we're really known about it is our user interface, and that doesn't change in between you're doing a high-end luxury project, or as you mentioned, just like say a media room or a small job. So we're here today, Trevor, if you can help us navigate through a demo of how we can use and we can interact with Savant on like an end user kind of way. And that's really because that's the unique thing that makes us really different, right? There are a lot of home automation brands out there, but nobody's really focused on the way that people interact and the user interface. That's really the most important thing. So why can't you show us a little bit about the Savant magic from that perspective?
Yeah, let's do that. So let me grab my phone here, and I'm going to share my screen. And I think you hit it on the nail there. Like I think we have a great user interface across multiple items, right? I'm just going to show everybody my phone here. Let me actually hit the share button, and let's see if this works. Quick time, or you know what? I'll just do the desktop. That's a little bit easier. Tends to lock up less. And then let me know if you see this, Juan Pablo.
We're looking at it. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So as probably I think some of the folks that are watching this know me, like I tend to like own a lot of the equipment, if not all, in my house, and I really use it a lot. My family uses it a lot, and I have a particular way of using the user interface as well. And as you said, it doesn't matter if you've got that house with the 20 bedrooms or you've got the studio, apartment, or a media room. It's always the same interface, and that works really well. I think over the years, dealers and end users have gotten really to appreciate it because it's just a consistent design that's well designed, well tested over time. And I would say like it still gives you like the opportunity to put some customization in where needed. So it's not like you're just stuck with something here. There are definitely areas where you can do some customization. So why don't we dive in? And then Pablo, like at the end, I actually, if we got a couple minutes, I want to show 2 documents that will help our client base with some guidance as well. So we've got those on the community. So, but let's get started here. So unfortunately, with the way that the phone works, I can't show you exactly where I'm touching the screen, but I'll try to describe it as best as I can. The way I always see our app is kind of like in 3 panels, kind of like see it as a 3-pane painting. There's a right side of the app, and I'm swiping now to the left. You can use the buttons on the top as well. You see scenes, tap on scenes, and I go to the scene side. In the center is basically your control side of the system. And then if I go to the left, I swipe over, I see my settings. So it's basically 3 pages that you're going to be using a system with. And again, it doesn't matter what size house you are, the layout is always the same. And I'll probably keep on repeating this because it's important, because many clients have systems out there, have had systems out there that they find complicated. They can't figure out like how to control another room, how to use another third. And I think we nailed it here. But before we do that, let's go quickly through the settings, and you'll keep me an eye on the time, right? In the settings, I think a portion that's super unique is like the switch home. So here, I just have a couple of systems here that I happen to manage here. You can very quickly connect to another property that is combined by the email address of the admin. And so what's neat about this, like you might have a client in, I'm just going to pick on, let's say, Bogota or Guatemala City, where you are, but maybe have a nice apartment in Miami, and you happen to get the same Savant installation. You add your email address, and suddenly you've got 2 homes to select from. So you don't have to log out, log back in again. Same experience in both houses. You don't have to learn something new. That's what clients will complain about a lot. Hey, I don't know how to use the system. They're familiar now with it already. So when I go back into the settings, we show you kind of like this personalization, which is really key in our environment of the app. I won't go into every single detail here, but I wanted to share like one of the strong points in our area. That is the button settings. Here you have the option with the Savant keypads to offer basically the option to do Savant scenes on a button. We don't have a lot of time to get into it now, but like Savant is very well known for creating your own personal scenes, like on the fly, like a less than a minute activity. But now you can actually even apply it on a button, a Savant keypad button or a light switch that you have installed in your room. So I have in my office here that I'm sitting today, 2 buttons. One is home office off and home office off button, and an office welcome. So I walk in, that button basically turns my Dutch radio channel. So I'm that Dutch guy. Touch radio channel on, the lights go on, and I sit down on my desk and I call Juan Pablo in the morning. So that's a neat feature. There's some other settings in there as well to spend time on there. Intercom settings, for example, think of, hey, I don't want a certain room to be paged. It needs to be muted at all times. There's some other things. Don't just glaze by them, please. This is personalization. So these are simple little things that really make it a powerful experience for the homeowner. When they see their own pictures of their room inside the app, they're blown away. And it's an easy thing to add. By far, and I want to just focus on this one more element here, the rest is more like of data. By far, I think one of the bucket of the most powerful things is user management. And Juan Pablo, in our travels, we always bring this up, right? Because it's so unique.
Yes, and I was
nobody does it.
Yeah, I was about to pinpoint that because that's pretty unique from my dealer previous history, and I've pretty much worked with the best known brands on all of the industry. This is a unique feature to us, and it's really quite amazing because as I started working with Savant, and as you mentioned, having Savant at home, this is something that, you know, pretty much every household needs it. It's something that's really interesting and important, and I don't believe that still we're not the only ones that are focusing in this subject.
Yeah, it's truly actually pretty crazy that nobody else picked up on it, because I remember in my programming days, it would take me days to just kind of build these separate pages. So let me show you how that works, because it's actually very easy too. You see the little plus sign on the top? That's how you add a user. And we made it very simple. You've got a guest. So think of somebody that you're invited to your house, and they are allowed to control some elements in the house. But they can only do it when they're in the house, or let's say on the Wi-Fi. So if you've got that guest that's kind of like the annoying one that like wants to mess with your lights when they're like back home, this is the option for them not to be able to do this. So this is great. That person can get control in the house, but not remotely. So that's kind of like the basics. The one step up is a household. So let's say I have my mom living with us. She's a household member. She can actually invite some other to the house as well as a guest. So basically, the additional option is here. That person can invite other people. The next one is the admin. Now, I myself an admin in the house, so is my wife. But many times you as the integrator, or if it's the integrator listening here today, the integrator is an admin as well, because many clients, they feel like, you know what, I want you as our integrator to be able to control the house well, or troubleshooting, or if they're coming back home, hey, could you check if everything's okay? So I know that many of our integrators are admins. But if you're the homeowner, this is where you actually basically go in, and then all you need to do is just add an email address, and that sends an invite to that person. That's simple. Next step is, you see here, I've got a couple of users. So I'm going to pick up my daughter. You can see here, Ariana de Mal Alvarez. Lovely girl, 16 years old. She's still in that 15-year-old age where I got to be careful kind of like what I give her as permission. So you see her home management, she is a household member or a guest member. She can't add her friends. That would be really messy in our house. I also gave her access to several rooms. Not my room, not our bedroom, not our bathroom, not my office, her room, and a couple of other main areas in the house. So what's neat is if she's like, hey, you know what, you've grown up, you can actually now use the main bathroom in the house as well, which is like next door for me. I just stopped that. And it's so cool because if Ariana is in her app at that moment, it will actually refresh, and now she has access to that room. I'm going to take it away. I think the most powerful one here is the services. And I'll pick here on climate because I've got a story to tell here. I'm sure some of you all know, young kids, they don't realize that when the air conditioning on, you tend to need to close the windows. It's an energy efficiency thing. So I don't like to waste energy. And so sometimes I take climate away. Because I don't want her to turn on the climate in her room from the touchscreen, from her app, and when the windows are open. So again, this just takes a service away, or she's been a good girl, I'm giving it right back. Again, like you said, Juan Pablo, it's just incredibly powerful. Please, if you're a user seeing this video, make sure you check this out. If you're an integrator watching us here today, please make sure you set up these settings because it's super important and clients absolutely love it.
I also wanted to add that
Mhm.
Trevor, that this is not only available through the app, either if you're using an iOS or Android scenario, but this is also something that you can configure kind of user management in the touch screens and other
Yep.
user interface we have. So we can completely customize like remote controls, or having perhaps on the living room touch panel have not the ability to as well control the master bathroom, or perhaps do not see the surveillance or security system. So I think it's pretty unique that we have this availability in our user interface.
And I'll quickly try to show something else. I know we got to be careful with time. You know me, I can talk forever. Let me see.
We have 15 minutes, don't worry.
Oh, okay. I want to show Home Manager as well. So we've got a really neat application. Can you see this now?
Yes.
So this comes with some of our latest releases. So like on Home Manager, as you can tell, like on any browser, even on your phone, for example, if you're not in the app, you can even do user management as well. So we have a really nice additional tool that comes with the latest 10 releases, where you can manage that also, including actually some other things as well, like camera recording. So there's a couple of key elements that are readily available for end users as well. Wrong camera here, door entry. So I can see my door entry cam here also. Just like you said, Compal, there's a couple of areas where you can do some of this management. So again, super important to do. Let me just get my video back in front of us again here. There you go. Cool. So just user management, please check out some of the other settings. But I want to actually now skip over to the right-hand side. You can see, folks, somebody's at the front door. Let's move that away. Scenes. Again, Compabla, I'm not sure like anybody really nailed this well, like we've done it. I know that some others have tried and do some elements of it.
No.
But this is the key, and I honestly would urge like anybody, the integrators online, wherever it is today, to always leave a few scenes for the client available so they see what it means: the welcome, the away, and entertainment. Leave a couple of them, put a really cool picture in the background, and really personalize this up. As you see here, I got quite a few. On top is the office welcome. That's the one I've actually have on my keypad as well. It's a simple one. It's got lighting. It's got my my music in there as well. The way that this works, folks, it is just a matter of like setting up the equipment where you like it. So the way I always describe it to our clients and users when they come and visit us, set up your lights, set up your favorite channel on, even if it's Spotify, for example, or TuneIn, or very soon Apple Music. Pick your favorite playlist. Maybe bring down some shade and just hit the plus sign. So on the right top, there is the plus sign. And I would always advise just capture it. You can build it yourself, not even worth it. Just capture the scene. And basically it just walks you through the step of what you want to save as a scene. And think of it, it could be as simple as like a favorite TV channel, all the way to like away from home. You want everything to turn off, including like turning on and locking your front door. All you got to do here is just pick a couple of rooms. I'm just tapping a little bit away here and just go through the motion. This is a confirmation page. You can schedule it. So I actually have my lighting for around the house scheduled. If you have maybe you've got even like your own experience center and you want things to turn on automatically in the morning, turn off in the afternoon, you can schedule it here. But I do all my lighting in one area. You can make your scenes personal, but you can also share it with the household. And then it's just a matter of like giving it a name. So I'll just call it the bathroom on, take a picture, and I'll stop here because I'm just going to add the same scene I have already. But you can take one of the pictures or hit the plus sign and take a unique one. So if I go back here, I'm just going to go back to my original scene here, folks. You'll see the background of the office welcome, my desk where I'm sitting at today. So personalize it. I got a couple more like that. Have personalized like some of these scenes as you go. So question usually becomes then, in my experience, at least, like, well, great, I picked this playlist, and man, I want to change it a little bit up. I need a different playlist. Just hover this over, hit the edit button, and just pick the music, and you can go through here, change the volume, change the music channel, or change the entire different music service. Maybe you want to go from Spotify to Apple Music, since that's out in a couple of weeks, and change it up. So there's so many ways to actually make quick changes for it. It's just one of these, like, you got to deploy. So that's on the right-hand side. Anything that I'm missing, you can probably, you feel like, oh, Trevor, you forgot this, or should I continue?
No, we can continue. It's yeah.
Cool. So the main area, basically what you would use every day, right? So I kind of call this the home page. This is basically where you can control everything in the house. You can certainly tap on room, the top one there, or simply slide from the top to the bottom, and you'll see all the rooms. And you've probably heard me say this a million times. Don't bother going to these rooms. Only if you do your touchscreen. If you want your touchscreen, for example, to be like waking up in a particular room, maybe do that. But if you're on your phone, your iPad, or your Android panel, I would honestly urge anybody to be, don't bother. This is by far, this particular page, by far the easiest way to control any size house. It doesn't matter if it's 20 rooms or 2 rooms. It doesn't matter at all. So why don't I give that a try? Yeah.
The interesting part of it is that this user interface is not only focused on one type of people that can, think of interacting the system from a room perspective, but you're actually right now are going to explain how we can do it as a service. So from all my 20 years experience in integration, and if we roll back to the days where we needed to develop the user interface, we always asked the end user, how do you want to use your system? The unique part of this in our app and in our interface is that it doesn't matter. It's already built in, either if you're thinking about interacting from a room's perspective, so for example, that's my wife, or either if you're acting from a service perspective, and that's me, and that's actually the thing that you're going to be explaining for us right now.
Yeah, exactly. So below there, you saw me like kind of scrolling through here. I'm doing that with my finger over the screen. You see all the services. Those can be actually relocated in Blueprint, so that's always important. So I'm pretty much like, I want my environmental side first, of the entry, lighting, and then it goes into like quickly HVAC, and then basically audio video services. But that's basically your property to the side. Every client is a little bit different, right? Maybe somebody's like, I want music right away, but I'm like, doorbell, the intercom and lighting for me is the most important. Everybody's a little bit different, and that's where you can really personalize it again. Right above it, you see daylight mode. So we do something really neat with lighting, where we can do daylight mode, also known as circadian rhythm, with our lighting system in the house, and that can be activated directly from there. So if I tap on it, I can go into it. That's a really neat little application. And you see here, since it's so critical, also a security interface. If I tap on it, I can basically see like, okay, my security system, I can arm it, disarm it here. Even my camera is included here as well, and even a dial pad. We made that a really neat piece. By the way, I don't want to forget, security integration is great. You should always be able to get to the security panel directly as well. Don't let the client just rely on the app. It's not, I don't think, an ideal scenario to have. So then on top, I want to focus on real quick is a little bit of a personalization again. You see my last name, Damat, and my home. Name that. Otherwise, it's just going to show something basic. So give it a client name. Simple little things that really, really make it personal and clients really adore. Same thing with that picture in the background. I have an old Victorian home here in New York City. Put it in the background. Very nice. Now, what I wanted to actually first show is kind of like a thing of that I've experienced in our experience center in New York City. It's clients, when they've had systems, they get confused. So they're like, hey, you know what? I don't know where to like control the audio. What I like about the section right under the Damat audio is if I tap there, I can see very quickly what's playing throughout the house. So if I hear music in the background, or I see like, oh shoot, I left the TV on somewhere in the house, I don't have to go find it. I can control it directly from here. And I'm clicking that little orange button there, and it's gone. If I close it, back on the home page. If I'm like, hey, I hear this radio channel, I want to play it somewhere else, I can simply tap on there, and I'm just going to turn it on in another room, close it, back on the home page. You're starting to see here, you can't get lost. So from this main page here, I can do multiple things, right? I'll just tap on the first one, quick entry control. I see we're going to be running out of time soon, so I'm going to quickly go for like the main area. Lighting is one of the main things that clients want to be able to control for it. And the way I like it is you see a little dot in front of the light bulb. That means lights are on in this house that I'm in today. I tap it, I get a very nice overview of my lights. And I group them in Blueprint by the main area of the house and then some of the secondary areas. And if I'm like, oh, you know what, that back entrance light here, we always leave it on. I can control it from there. Close it, I'm back home. If I want to go in and say like, hey, you know what, I want to control some more lights, I have some things that I can do here directly, individually. I even have like true image. Yeah, I can show some of the lighting in here as well and go back to all lights and also turn it back off again. Back on the home page. I still can get to anywhere I want to from this area. The same thing with TV control. You see here again, like you were saying, Juan Pablo, from here, I can start a service. I pick my bedroom, boom, I'm now actually like in the TV control. And here, what I mentioned a little bit earlier, this is the area where you can do some customization. It could literally be anything you want as long as it connects to the host. And so that we can actually make a special command for it. So I've got buttons here for the screen up that I can just like move around into the ideal position or simply delete, put it in the bucket again. So very nice self-service. So I close it out and back on the home page.
It's really simple to use it, and as you mentioned, it has a lot of benefits from a system that's unique to us. So for all the dealers out there, Savant's going to be in Cydia as well as we. So we can have a meeting there. We can have a face-to-face with Trevor and all the Latin American team. So Trevor, for finishing and wrapping up, what do you want us to share here with these documents?
Yeah, just very quick. We don't have to go through this, but what I just showed you at a glance here is actually very nicely documented as well for everyone. This is available to end users. It's available for you to dealer. Actually, it's really nice if you would print this out for your clients because it shows you pretty much what I just did. And it's really nicely documented. So this is on the community available. The other thing is, which is hard to show in a live demo, is you can do very similar things on the remote control. I found, because you probably did the same thing as I did like 10 years ago, everything on my remote control. I thought it was so cool that I could do the door opening on the remote control. The times have changed. We've got phones, we've got iPads, simplify the user interface. So you can really make this a personal experience where just the scene and the service. So folks online here and closing, go to our community, download these two documents, Savant Remote Personalization and Savant Pro app. And you can do exactly like what I just showed everyone as well.
So thanks a lot, Trevor. We really appreciate taking up the time. You know that we have a really tight schedule. So we'll be continuing moving on, but we really appreciate it. Thank you. We'll see you face to face. And for all the folks that are attending Cydia, we're more than welcoming you on Savant's booth.
Looking forward to seeing everybody at Cydia. Thanks so much, huh? See you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.